Team Wikispeed has built a fast, affordable, ultra-efficient, safe, fun commuter car. And the first prototype, functional prototype, was built in 3 months. How is that possible when existing cars seem to change so slowly? Here we see over a 6-year period, a mainstream hybrid car achieved an additional 2 miles per gallon. Existing manufacturing processes are slow because they're very expensive to change. If an engineer wanted to redesign this door tomorrow, they would need to wait 10 years to first pay off the current door mold before making another one, or else lose millions of dollars. This is not uncommon in manufacturing teams for them to run on 10 to 25-year development cycles. Old software teams used to run the same way. We use 7-day development cycles. This is how new software teams run, and it allows us to make changes very quickly. In 2008, the Progressive Insurance Automotive X Prize announced a $10 million prize purse and an international challenge to see if it were even possible to build 100 mile per gallon cars to road legal safety specifications. The closest thing we had in 2008 were like bobsleds. They achieved more than 100 miles per gallon, but they held one occupant and they didn't meet road legal safety requirements. I joined the X Prize too, but in the beginning it was just me. But I decided to blog about everything that went well and everything that didn't go well and everything I was learning. And through social networking tools, a team came to assist. And 3 months later, we had the car that we campaigned in the X Prize and a volunteer team of 44 team members in 4 countries. We tied for 10th in the mainstream class. That meant we outlasted more than 100 other cars from companies and universities around the world. We do this by modeling our team to develop the car after modern software teams. We use techniques with funny sounding names like Agile, Lean, and Scrum. These methods all help us make changes quickly. Right after the X Prize, we were invited to the largest auto show in the world, January 2011 in Detroit, Michigan. We knew we wanted a more beautiful car, a more aesthetic car, but we also knew that for one car body, it would cost us at least $36,000 and 3 months lead time. So I took time off my day job and I went to composite school. I came back to the team and we made small models of the car and iterated a composites process that ended up letting us build our car body in structural carbon fiber in 3 days for $800. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. They put us on the main floor of the auto show between Ford and Chevrolet. Lucky for us, the car was beautiful. That car went on to be featured on the Discovery Channel, Popular Science, Popular Mechanics, the New York Times Online, the National Geographic Channel, Wired Magazine, the Forbes Billionaire Club linked to us, and others. Now, and this has been a 6-month time span, most of what I'm talking about. Now, Rob Moorbacher, who leads our Germantown, Maryland team, is producing our production convertible city car mold. So how do we do it? We're modular. The engine is able to be switched from a gasoline to electric engine in about the time it takes to change a tire. The car body switches from a convertible to a pickup truck. This lets us make changes and develop quickly. Here you can see our chassis, our frame, holds all the modules together. That chassis is the lightest chassis in the world to achieve a 5-star crash rating equivalency. Thanks so much. We're safe because we design safety tests for our parts before we even build them. In fact, we design tests for all of our parts before we build them. We take this from test-driven development in the software world. guys are awesome. We use less stuff wherever we can. Here, Rob Huggins, a Seattle area recent high school graduate, is saving up for college, and he's able to build a WikiSpeed car by using an $89 bandsaw and a home-built CNC router instead of a piece of equipment that costs more than $100 million in existing automotive process. We reduce the cost to make change wherever possible. Costs in tooling, machinery, and complexity. This lets us not have to wait 3 to 7 years for the next version of our product. Again, we're able to make changes to any part of the car every 7 days. We use distributed collaborative teams. These again increase our velocity. And we found that morale is a multiplier for velocity across the team. And the way we organize our teams is the smallest, fastest way to organize an agile team. It's called Scrum. Scrum is a method to manage a team in a very rapid way, and that's exactly how we manage our teams in Team WikiSpeed. We do all our work in pairs. This avoids time spent training that's not productive. It also eliminates the need for most types of documentation. Here, Martin Val and Kurt Roy are building one of our engines. They actually both perfectly know how to do it, but they're able to share all that knowledge while working without then having to uptrain someone afterwards. We visualize our workflow to identify any time spent not creatively solving problems. The tools we use to do this are all free. And none of these existed 10 years ago. That means this approach would have been difficult and maybe even impossible even 5 years ago. Every industry stands to benefit from this process. And in fact, a probable future is that for businesses to maintain relevancy or even be able to compete, they'll have to adopt this process. So what to do? If you own a business, identify a member of your board of directors to be a process coach for the business, and then add process coaches to your teams. If you're the member of a team, ask your process coach where you can gain efficiencies in your team. And if you're a process coach or a scrum master, identify the value stream map of your company and sharpen your skills at every opportunity. So what's WikiSpeed doing next? We're more than 100 volunteers in 8 countries now. We sell cars now, and now we're taking these processes to solve bigger problems, like help eradicate polio, like help develop low-cost medical centers for developing communities. Join Team WikiSpeed and let's change the world. You'll sharpen your agile skills and make a difference in the world around you. But even cooler than that, I invite everyone here to spend 2 hours a day, even just 2 hours a week, rapidly solving problems for social good. Many of the members of Team WikiSpeed spend between 2 and 8 hours a week helping us rapidly develop our cars. And we've had phenomenal and regular successes with it.
Okay, I'm stopping it there. It was just to tell you that Scrum is not only implemented in software divisions or software companies now, but it's beyond that. I was actually looking forward to Joe Justice that, when I met him and I worked with him for a while, he was telling me that, he wants to work towards making this world a very agile and beautiful place, especially in this non-software division, implementing agile and lean there. But recently he joined, anyone knows where he joined? Joe Justice? Hi team.
Oh no, I'm not aware.
Okay.
No idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was really happy when he said when we met. I think I met in San Francisco to him, and he said that yeah, he would like to make great cars and great hardwares. But yeah, he's still making it. But now Elon Musk hired him as a product manager, so he's working with. Uh, I think the car division for Tesla. So yes, I don't know in a private company how he does it or how he can actually take it forward, but he really did a great work. He was really a good product manager or a trainer also for the industry kind of, so we lost one person to an industry. So hope that was really great there. So you have actually seen it here that in the hardware industry or production industry also Scrum is getting implemented. So
Yeah, Samik is saying that he is already a Scrum Master in the manufacturing division.
oh
They
wow,
make semiconductors, chips, and fitting machines.
okay, good. So can you share a little, Samik?
Yeah, it's probably not that much inspiring story, and I have been working there for hardly just slightly more than a quarter.
Okay.
So it's just the teams are collection of different floor managers, the supervisors, the logistics experts, etc. They take care of the workplace innovation and user support innovation.
Mhm.
So there are different types of work that they innovate. They bring those works. For example, I can take an instance like they are thinking of coming up with a vending machine for smaller IT equipments. For example, let's say a mouse or maybe a pen drive, something like that.
Mhm.
You don't need to go to the procurement center or the IT support center to get that issued in your name. Rather, there's a vending machine. You just type in your employee ID. It
Okay.
will be automatically vended out. So they are making it online. We are
Yeah.
working on that.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So maybe sometime later when you actually get comfortable with your sector, kind of, you share a case study with us that how it's
Will
actually
do.
working. Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'll do
That,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that would be really, really great. So yeah, I've seen one thing that's working in Wikispeed. I've seen Wikispeed working. Then I think 3, 4 years back, I met Jeff Sutherland. I asked him that, what do you call Scrum or Agile? Um, is it a invention? Is it a discovery, or it's amalgamation of different practices? So what he said, whatever works in those industry, we picked the best and we checked what fits in here, what works here. We tried to implement for a shorter duration, we call sprint. If it works, kind of, we said finally that, yeah, that's a Scrum framework. And it is not a fixed framework, it is going to evolve. So recently, if you actually see, he said then that lean uh, practices were the base for this Scrum implementation or agile practices kind of. So you actually see here now in the current Scrum Guide version, there are a lot of times, lean is mentioned, that lean is also base for Scrum implementation or Scrum framework. Uh, we also discussed about last time what has changed in the new Scrum Guide. We have discussed about the roles changing. Earlier roles were like responsibilities. We discussed about now those roles are accountable. Okay. So we discussed about the accountabilities last version. So what are the accountabilities that anybody can remember from last session? If you remember just one accountability, Rahul, I think you were there. So if you can just tell one accountability that has come into the developers, Scrum Masters, if you remember.
Okay, let me start. In the December month itself, the November month itself this year, Scrum Guide 2020 was released, and there are quite a few big changes that we discussed last time. So let me showcase you here what were those changes that we discussed last time. So we started with change is the only constant, and Scrum and Agile and everything is actually changing. So if you actually see, just Agile Manifesto is kind of constant, but if you actually see, a lot of people are asking questions that it needs change, because software industry has also moved along in those about like 40 years now. It started somewhere. I mean, the good software industry really started in around 1980s or something like that, wherein actually the group software making or team software making started, wherein teams started forming like development team and testing team, and then amalgamation happened. So post that, a lot of changes have happened. People are also asking for Agile Manifesto change. I don't see it in the coming year though, but maybe Agile Alliance meet sometime and then think of any changes. However, I see most of the times it's still intact. However, Scrum as a framework is actually going under a lot of changes. It was very pro software right in the beginning. Now it is actually moving towards the non-software divisions also. Like 3 years back, I was in USA, and Jeff Sutherland was speaking about its implementation in non-software divisions. I just worked a little while with Wikispeed as a company, which is car manufacturing company, which is custom made cars though. So they make custom made cars in maybe 2 months or 6 months sometimes. So you must have seen that video by, have you seen anybody seen a video by Joe Justice on Wikispeed?
What was the question? I didn't get it.
Earlier, we used to say about the responsibilities in the Scrum Guide. Now we have moved from responsibility to accountability.
Right.
Yeah. So we discussed last time about the accountabilities, and I'll go through a little bit of it.
Vijay,
Yeah.
I believe it's only Scrum Master has got more accountability than having a responsibility. But I don't see either developer or product owner role getting swapped to responsibility to accountability.
Yeah, maybe because we speak when in Scrum Guide, we speak a lot of times about the Scrum Master. Maybe you feel so, but if you actually see the development team is also more accountable now. Earlier, we used to say that about more about the forecast. Now we say about a commitment, commitment to sprint goal, kind of. So those words called, but as commitments coming into force now. If you actually see product owner is also accountable for delivering the value. So if you see those words, we have already shown last time, but I'll just cursory view through it. Now development team is responsible or accountable for, whatever they commit to deliver. So that is the commitment that is coming in. Scrum Master is also more accountable. So that we'll discuss or just a cursory view now. To answer your question, it's not only the Scrum Master, but also development team and product owner are held accountable now. Yeah, now Scrum teams commit to a single product goal. If you actually see, there's a introduction of the product goal. Earlier, we just had the product vision, which is generally a very vague or a big statement, which doesn't really hold a typical goal, but it's a visionary statement. Now we have a product goal, which we discussed last time about. It might have multiple objectives, and you can think of progressing towards one objective now, and then later on you can also add more and more objectives. So that is more focused approach towards the objective rather than a big vision. Okay, so that we discussed last time. Also, 3 commitments that we discussed. So product goal, sprint goal, and definition of done. And earlier we used to say as a responsibility or the kind of visionary documents or statements. Now we say it's commitment. We'll also discuss about it. We discussed last time about the shorter and even less prescriptive things. I showed you a Scrum Guide vis-a-vis 2017 version and 2020 version. I'll just have a cursory view again today. And we also discussed about the product goal that has come into picture. So let us understand a little about product goal. What is a product goal? Verbatim Scrum Guide 2020. So it says, product goal describes a future state of the product which can serve as a target for the Scrum team to plan against. So now earlier you had a product backlog as a document, from where you used to get the product backlog items and make your sprint goal and the sprint backlog. Now what you have to see, you also have to see the product goal, which is part of the product backlog. So the product goal is in the product backlog. Okay, so it might be a statement or multiple statements or multiple statements wherein it's telling these are the objectives. Like it might have 10 objectives, like I told you last time about the one of the companies in India, how it had multiple objectives. Started with one objective. I also gave you an example of Flickr as a company, which has a different objective in the starting. They had a goal or a vision of making software products, which are typically games for the students. However, later on, they changed the objectives to making or sharing the images with friends, and helping each other and commenting. So that's what is the change. So similarly here, you might have a product goal or multiple statements which might change. So you'll actually focus on one product goal right now. And then based on that, you have your sprint goals for multiple sprints. So that from vision, you are changing or focusing more towards the goal now. So rest of the product backlog emerges. That is generally common. The product is a vehicle for delivering value and it is a clear boundary. So now we are speaking about a clear boundary, known stakeholders and well-defined users of the customers. So we are more specific and more focused now on the product goal. A product could be a service. Now you see, I've shown you that video by Joe Justice, wherein we discussed about the manufacturing industry or the car manufacturing industry. Now you see, here's a change. Earlier, we were discussing too much about the software industry. Here now we are discussing about a service or a physical product or something more abstract. So now Scrum Guide is not focused only on the software division, but we are becoming more global towards a product industry or service industry. So even service is added now. So the product goal is a long-term objectives for the Scrum team and must fulfill or abandon. That's very important statement here. Abandon one objective before taking on the next. So, you know, your goal, like you're playing football and then you go near the football, you know, that wherein you're just putting the ball into the goal and all of a sudden somebody changes the goal. What happens? You get really disturbed. I mean, you are confused. So here, what we are mentioning here, vision was a very vague statement or a big statement. There was very big scope for changes. But if you see now, goals are very, very clear. It has a clear boundary, stakeholders, and who are the users. So now you can put your objectives or sequential objectives as product goals, which might get upgraded or added into after certain duration. So while you are planning for the sprint planning or discussing for the sprint planning, you have a specific product goal. So that's one big change that has happened. So as I told you, those 4 changes we discussed. So I will have a cursory view about what all changes we discussed in the last one. So we discussed about, on the left hand side, you will see a lot of yellow colored statements, So yellow colored statements, if you see on the left side, that was a lot of details given in the Scrum Guide. So now those are removed, and the right side, you see those are very important statements. What we are saying here, the Scrum team consists of 1 Scrum Master, 1 product owner, and developer. So we know that earlier we had a development team, and development team was part of Scrum team. So we had a team within team, but we used to say that we do not want teams within teams or sub teams, but we ourselves in the Scrum Guide had 2 teams, a development team and a Scrum team. So now that is removed. So that is absolute clarity, and that gives an accountability. We are discussing about the product goal, typically 10 or fewer people. That's a change that we discussed last time. Now you see, someone was asking about the accountability only for the Scrum Master, but if you see now, product owner is accountable for maximizing. So you see a lot of accountability coming into picture here now. Yeah. So on the right side, these are the statements which are typically changed. If you see developers, so now earlier we had a development team. Now we are saying that developers are part of a Scrum team. That's what we discussed. And here's the accountability that's coming into picture. So accountability is highlighted here. Scrum Master is accountable for. So these are the accountabilities of Scrum Master that we discussed last time. And we were planning to discuss about the events. Okay, so we will move on to events. So before that, any specific questions and whatever we discussed till now, before we deep dive into events?
Vijay, I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, I want to know the product goal. Means product backlog item is always continuously. We are product owner is adding. It is evolving. Means state always remain in evolving state. So how product goal will be remain fixed? It is also evolving over the period of time.
Yes, it might evolve.
And if it is the things, how it will be, because it is there is no any time box, right, for product backlog. So we know in sprint backlog there is a time box, but product backlog is no time box. It is if we consider a team is working in team level, so it is always adding a new product backlog item, and based on the priority, team members is taking it from the top priority item to sprint backlog. So how it will be evolved, even though if it is evolved.
So, not everything is changing. So, very firstly, I would like to mention that the Scrum framework is still a Scrum framework. Evolving statements are still evolving. That product backlog is evolving. Like we said that right in the beginning, that product backlog, product objectives or product goals might add up. So, highest priority product goal might still be very relevant in the current time. However, it might pivot, as I have seen, told you one of the example of Flickr, how it changed. They had a product goal of making good uh, games for the students. However, later on, they saw the industry moving towards the image sharing and they changed their product goal. However, what was the vision? Their vision was very generic vision of making sure that making sure their customers are enjoying their products, and also in their time wherein they are getting bored. So in such a cases, those products will entertain them. So is Flickr entertaining them? Yes, still entertaining them. So the vision is still intact. However, the goal has changed. However, goal was to create products of like gaming type of products. Now their products are typically image sharing products. So the images, I mean, the vision is still there. Goals is evolving. One example last time I gave you, I would like to share it again, was in the India, we have bus related. Rahul, can you tell me what was the product that I shared last time?
Redbus, I think.
Yeah, Redbus, exactly. So Redbus, thank you for reminding me that. So Redbus started with, so Redbus is like a complex domain product. They never knew that this particular product will work or not. Similarly, your product also in the complex domain, you may not know as a product owner. So in that case, what is the goal? First goal and the primary goal is to check in the market whether the first instance of your product that goes into market or the first version, whether it works. See that what is the customer's response to it is your first goal as a product owner. So now if it works, then you actually add more and more goals to it. That may happen. So to answer your question, it might evolve. Yes, it might add up based on the performance of the product. However, product backlog items that will keep same. We have discussed about already last time about the sprint goal. So sprint goal will still remain intact, that you bring in something, the product backlog items from your product backlog, which are catering to the current product goal, and then you work on it. So sprint cancellation is still intact. So if you have a sprint goal in mind, sprint does not change anything in between that changes your sprint goal. That is still intact. So does that answer your question? Not much has changed. Only the vision has been broken down into sprint goals.
Vijay, to add upon on that, so when will the product goal get revised? So in sprint goal, during the time of sprint goal does not get changed, should not get impacted.
Very good. So if you actually see the biggest,
when will the product goal gets reflected upon, or is that what is the period of duration, or it cannot be stagnant, it cannot be static throughout the project, or it should be static? What is the view about that?
So I cannot answer that question because that is very domain specific and product specific. It might change as like your sprint might be one day also, right? Or your sprint might be a 30 days.
No, it cannot be one day.
Yeah.
What is the purpose? We cannot even build, we cannot even test, nothing can be done. It's not possible to have a one day sprint.
Yeah, there are products who are implementing one day sprints also. The Scrum Guide doesn't stop you from having that. Scrum Guide says that
because to the best of my understanding, I thought it should be minimum 1 week. That's what the guides.
No. It can be for one day, even less than that. Yes. I've even witnessed half-day sprint.
Okay.
Yeah. So Scrum Guide says 30 days. I mean the 1 month or less. So if we have already discussed that.
What the Scrum Guide says is, principle says is, from a month to 2 weeks. Well, whichever is preferably minimum.
Typically 2 weeks to 1 month. It's typically, yes. But it does not restrict you to have, less duration than that.
But I have never seen anywhere saying as putting it as 1 day.
Yeah, I have seen it. I can tell you.
Okay, great. So very good. So to answer your question, we are at the events now. Okay. Anyways, we were going to discuss more about events today. So we are
Yeah, that's about the product goal you're telling about.
exactly. So product goal is a bigger goal. Multiple sprints might cater to product goal. Now we are coming to sprints. How do we break down into it? So what is the change? So earlier we used to say heart of the sprint. Now we are saying heartbeat because it's continuous. It keeps on change. One after the other. So that's how it happens. So if you actually see, there is a reference to product goal here also. Okay. And then there are certain changes during the sprint. What happens? Here is must be a sprint. Can you see anywhere here the duration for the sprint? Someone was speaking about 2 weeks or maximum 1 month. There is no reference to 2 weeks anymore.
1 month is there, right? Just
Yeah, 2 weeks isn't there.
yeah.
Less than
I
1
think
month.
earlier it was
1 month or less.
1 week to 4 weeks earlier it was, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So earlier the version, it was like, typically 1 week to 4 weeks or something.
No,
There
it is
earlier
mentioned as
reference.
product goal at least every calendar month.
Yeah. So now we are actually de-scoping only software and actually having scope more wider for multiple kind of products or services even, if we actually seen that we are discussing. Okay. So does that answer your question? It is no more limited to 1 week or 1 day. It is saying that 1 month or less. Why 1 month or less? Yeah.
Got it. Thanks for updates.
Sure.
Related to product goal, how it could be addressed? Should that be changed or not? Or what is the frequency of updation? Really not sure about that.
So Scrum Guide earlier was little more prescriptive. Unlike other products, if you actually see Safe and others, they were more prescriptive, but Scrum Guide was less prescriptive. However, this time onwards, it has become even more less prescriptive. So that's what we discussed. So your question, if you're asking me how often, if Scrum Guide tells you that, that would be more prescriptive because Scrum Guide now caters to multiple products and services. So we won't be able to answer that question because that is very product specific. I think Samik was discussing about having sprints of even half a day or 1 day. So in those cases, if your product is very, very small, especially if you're dealing with the any industry which is just having a website like Amazon. So Amazon delivers so many products every day and multiple products keep adding to it. So how often their product goal might change, I don't know. But however, if I generally deal with majority of the softwares which are dealing in the railways industry is very stagnant, or in terms of the products safety related, it doesn't really change much. So our goals might change even in a year or maybe not even in a year. So that is very specific to your domain question. However, it shouldn't change inside the sprint. What if it changes inside the sprint? What will happen?
It will impact the sprint goal. Sprint goal will become obsolete and sprint can be cancelled.
Absolutely. Very good. So what I mean to say by not being so prescriptive, you have a sprint goal very specific to one sprint. Obviously, your product goal should have minimum of a scope of a sprint goal and more of maybe more than multiple sprints, I would say that. Yeah, so I can't be very specific or be telling you that how often it will change. It depends on your product or the domain.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Sprint planning, what is the change that we discussed last time also? Product goal is an addition. And there is one more additional question. Earlier we had two questions. What can be done in the sprint and how will the chosen work get done in the sprint? But now very specific question added as the first one. Why is this sprint valuable? So now that question is being asked even to developers. Why is this sprint valuable? Earlier, we never used to discuss too much about sprint goals, and I took a poll last time, and none of the people generally said that we discuss about the sprint goal in the sprint planning. However, now that has come as first question, why is this sprint valuable? So that's a very, very big change. So you have to think about the product goal, okay? And then why is this sprint valuable? You have to just relate that to product goal and you will get the answers. Once that value question is answered, then you go on to what can be built this sprint and how it can be built this sprint. So now it has 3 questions. So along with the sprint goal, we discuss also about the product goal. And the third question as a value. Okay, sprint goal, not much change here. It is same and intact. Then we go to daily scrum. So daily scrum, if you see on the left, was very much prescriptive. So many things, as Rahul also told last time, that these were 3 questions. So what Scrum Master did, you become a new Scrum Master, you go to daily Scrum because that's the most favorite event of any Scrum Master that I have seen. And they used to generally ask, hey guys, how to do daily Scrums? What I did yesterday, what I'm going to do today, and what are the impediments. That's it. Scrum Masters never thought really beyond that. So now if we actually see that prescription is actually moved out of the Scrum guide. And if you see on the right side, there's no prescription like that. So Scrum Masters are open to make sure that how this event runs. However, what is more important, the purpose of the daily Scrum is to inspect progress towards a sprint goal and adapt the sprint backlog as necessary. That's still intact. 15 minutes still intact. And now there is a small change here, every working day. Earlier we used to say that every day, daily or something like that. That's a change. Product owner or Scrum Master, see, there's a change here, are actively working on items in the sprint backlog. They participate as developers. That's a statement change here. So earlier we used to say that product owner may not be required here, but if he or she, sometimes we have seen, so Scrum Guide is also accepting that sometimes those people are also working as a part of the team as a developer. So in those cases, yes, you can. So you see a lot of changes here. Developers can select whatever structure and techniques they want. So now from this structure on the left, you are going developers, so now developers are given accountability to select any structure that they want. So as long as the daily Scrum focuses on the progress towards the sprint goal, that's a change. Now, one more big change here. So we used to say about self-organization earlier. You see here, improves self-management. Now we are more focusing on the management or managing things that is more responsible, towards the sprint goal or the work towards the sprint goal, rather than working on the big open horizon of self-organization. We are saying self-management. So accountability that leads to some kind of management. So that's a change here. On the left side, if you see on the yellow things, we were discussing every section in the Scrum Guide about what Scrum Master needs to do, as if the whole Scrum Guide is for the Scrum Master. So now it is very, very, ideally put into very good sections and very, very clear. So now Scrum Master things are moved out and we are discussing about only the Scrum, daily Scrum here. Yeah. Now we discuss about the sprint review. There are certain mistakes. If you see on the left, there are still certain things I will discuss about, So end of the sprint review is held at the end of the sprint. What is the mistake here, guys? Can anyone tell?
Perhaps you have the sprint retrospective.
Then
Awesome.
only the sprint
Yeah.
would end.
Awesome. And I have seen certain versions, you're absolutely right. Thank you for sharing that. I've seen certain versions that people were doing retrospectives before the sprint review happens. And I used to ask why. And they say, if we do certain retrospective, we are better prepared to deal with the stakeholders. We can answer their questions very well. So that's what I have seen. I mean, the intent of the sprint retrospective itself went for a toss. Now you see here on the right side, we are discussing more about the outcome. In the sprint review, we discuss or inspect about the outcome and not much about how or what. However, there is a scope for progress towards the product goal is also discussed here. So we present to the stakeholders However, we discuss or focus more on the outcome. So the Scrum team presents the results of their work. Earlier, we used to we were more focusing on the development team presenting. Now, what we are saying, there is only one team, that is Scrum team, and the whole Scrum team presents it to the stakeholders. Okay. And now, very specifically, sprint review is the second to last event. Now we are very specific in certain things. So clearing it out that after this, the retrospective happens. Okay. Duration is still same. There's not much change here. So maximum for 4 hours for 1 month sprint, and for shorter sprints, it's even shorter. So if you see on the left side, there are a lot of things, what's happening in the sprint review. On the right side, there's nothing like that. Very, very shorter version of it. So now all the Scrum Masters, you have more work to do. You have to explore so many things now. You have to go search on Google, go to communities, to come discussions like this, and then kind of implement it. So now there is more scope for discussion amongst the community of the Scrum Masters than it was earlier, because Scrum Guide was telling you specifically that this you do and it would be really great. So Scrum Guide is no more telling you that. Scrum Guide is actually making sure that you are thinking now with being less prescriptive. Sprint retrospective. So if you see on the left, there are so many details, on the earlier version of it. So there are the red things, it was really hindering the thoughtfulness of the people as a Scrum Master. Now on the right side, if you see, there is nothing prescriptive here. Very, very clear statement about why you need to do it, what is the intention of doing it, but how is not told on the right side. So now in the sprint retrospective, it has changed a little version of it. If you see earlier, the Scrum Master ensures that the event takes place and so many things, blah, blah. But on the right side, no mention of Scrum Master in these events now. So it is ways to increase quality and effectiveness. Now, very, very focused on plan ways to increase quality and effectiveness. Okay. The Scrum team identifies the most helpful changes to improve its effectiveness. The whole Scrum team. Earlier version I have seen, the product owner typically used to say that I'm not part of your retrospective because you people are doing work. I'm not part of it. So generally I've seen majority of the times the product owner were not part of the retrospectives, or used to say that call me when I'm required, as if I'm not part of your team. Have you also seen that in your teams?
Yes.
I have normally experienced it with the product owners because in a typical consultancy firm, it happens that the product owner comes from the client side.
Yes.
And he or she does not feel it necessary to be present in the retrospective because he or she is the client.
Yes.
It's just for the team.
Yeah.
Just ignore the mails. They don't do further. Yes. I have experienced it.
Yes. So now product owner is part of that Scrum team. So that is very, very specific and clear. No more deviation, no more segregation of teams, one team. And it specifically says sprint retrospective concludes the sprint. That is the last event of any sprint. Yeah. So very, very specific in certain things. However, reduced the flab on the left side, you see purpose of the retrospective is to inspect how the last sprint went with regards to people, relationship, process, and tools, very specific. Identify and order the major items that went well and potential improvements. Create a plan for implementing improvements to the way the Scrum team does. And it also used to say last time that you have to add 1 or 2 action items into your sprint backlog. However, on the right side, it doesn't really say anything about that, about adding those action items into your sprint backlog. Yeah. So it has become more specific about certain things. Flab is reduced. Okay. And also it has given a lot of thoughtfulness. You should think about it. How do I do it? So prescription is actually moved out of it. Yeah. Open to questions. We were going to discuss about the events that we have discussed. the major events that we do. Any question?
Yeah, Vijay, I have one question. Like all events are important, but what is the most important event in your opinion? Yeah. Sprint review or retrospective?
Yeah, I would like to go to people. Any take on this question?
Hi, Sandeep here. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Sandeep.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick any one event because if you look at the Scrum Guide, if you're not really paying attention to this minimal set of framework which is given, you are really not doing Scrum. So, can you say that I pick one specific event and it is going to give me more benefit compared to the other events? You cannot say that, right? You have to perform all the events. So, my opinion is all the events are important. Giving importance to one event to the other will not help anyone. That's my take.
Indeed. Every event has its own specific purpose and intent. One event cannot be complemented or supplemented by another event.
Yeah, very good. And I would like to go to the statement mentioned by the Scrum Guide here also. Failure to operate any events as prescribed result in lost opportunities to inspect and adapt. So every event is very specifically put in this particular framework, and it has its own intention and goal to achieve. If it is not done, for an example, which event you would like to miss? Let us discuss in this way. If you do not plan, you would fail to deliver. If you do not do, especially one of the biggest event I have seen that not happening many times is, I hope you'll also agree to me that sprint review. Many times your customers or users are not available, and I've seen Scrum Masters canceling that. And I asked him, why are you canceling that? They say, we already know what we are going to deliver. This is actually for the end customers. So what is the impact of that? Have anyone seen reviews getting cancelled because especially customer or user isn't there?
Yeah, that happens. Agree on that, Vijay.
Sure. So what is the impact if we have failed?
Yeah, from my side, like reviews haven't been cancelled. Like retrospectives have been mostly cancelled.
Okay. Okay. So reviews and retrospectives in that case maybe are least important for people maybe. But as everyone said in this room, every event is a mandatory event. Okay. What it does, daily Scrum does, the 15-minute daily Scrum reduces the requirement of other meetings or events or statuses. That 15-minute, that reduces that. Sprint planning gives you absolute clarity about what is required from the customer point of view, what is required from the delivery point of view, what is the value that you're going to achieve, and that gives a freedom to plan. Developers plan according to their own capacity or capability. So that's a very important event. Then the event that we discussed about the review, wherein you showcase what you have done. So it's a way to express, it's a way to get feedback from the end customers. If it doesn't happen, you don't really get the feedback. It might be the case for the product failure.
And even the product backlog will not be updated.
Exactly.
There's no refining of the product backlog happening post the review.
Yeah, that's very important. And if you do not do sprint retrospective, what will happen? We are here for continuous improvement, because the situation is our products are complex, the technology is complex, our knowledge or processes are complex. We need to meet together, look it back, and then understand what went well, or what things can be improved, so that you are never the same team again. You are improving, continuously improving. That's the way it actually operates or help. And suggestion for the Scrum Masters, even if there is nothing delivered or you don't really have anything, I would say that this is one event which gives you an intellectual, artistic, creative freedom to deal with or connect with your teams. And hence, retrospectives are really, really important. If you know that nothing is really important right now, we are really, really doing good, then have it as an informal event, have it over food. What I used to do is I used to call people, hey guys, let's have some food. I have got something for you and let's enjoy it. And over the food, over the snacks kind of, I used to discuss with them. And that was one of the most important retrospectives. Don't tell them that we have a, what went well, what did not go well, and something. Let's meet all over the food. Get some samosas and pizzas and let's enjoy. That's it. And then that might be one of the greatest retrospective. People will give you best feedbacks. Over the food, people opens up, and that's the best opportunity. So that's why I would say that for me, as an agile coach, I would like to put it in this way. For me, as an agile coach or a team coach, I would say team coach, for me, retrospective is the most important event. The reason being, therein, I have a freedom to tell my scrum master or team, how do we improve? And there is, for me, this is really, really important. But for the product owner, review, or the customer, it's more important. For the team, sprint planning and daily scrum is very, very important. Even for the product owner, sprint planning is very, very important, because he gets to tell people that this is what is the goal that I want to achieve or we want to achieve. So if you see, every stakeholder have their importance connected to some of the events, but as a whole, for a scrum team, everything is important. Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
Sorry. Good. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, so I hope that answers the importance of the events, right?
Yeah, Vijay.
Sure. Okay, so we have discussed about the events today. We will discuss more about the remaining things like artifacts in the next session.
Can I ask one
Yeah.
question?
Yes.
Could you please let me know the difference between the self-organized and self-managed, which they are being interchangeably used, and I could not figure out the thin line of difference between the both terminologies.
Yeah. Anybody would like to answer that? Yes. What is the difference between organized and managed?
Sandeep here once again. Just my thoughts, few things which immediately come to my mind.
Yeah.
If we look at the game of soccer, football,
Yeah.
when the game is being played, the team is actually self-organizing. They are saying that, okay, there will be so many people at the front, in the middle, and so many people will be at the back. So they continuously self-organize themselves.
Yeah.
In that specific game, there is a team manager who is outside the game, and you would often see in the visuals on television that who is telling the people, hey, you do this or that, or screaming his and perhaps sharing his thoughts to the team. But there is a team manager basically in the game of soccer. To me, moving from self-organization to self-management is, you perhaps even take over that team manager kind of responsibilities, where you are now looking, the horizon has expanded. Earlier you were just, so that's my take on it. That's how I look at it. I do not know whether it is right or wrong, but these are the things which, these are the thoughts which come to my mind immediately.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Yeah.
Vijay, on the same line of Sandeep, we can give an example of cricket field as well, right? They are different point gully and square point and different things, right? Which are fixed one, right? But depending on the player, how he is comfortable, he moves few steps ahead when the bowler is moving to ball, right? So that is an adjustment which that particular player is making.
Yeah.
Based on the structure or based on the fielding setting, managing himself based on comfortable he is. Maybe something related to self-manage, something which the process, what needs to be done in that particular event.
Yeah.
You manage yourself based on the compatibility. Having the goal been defined as what needs to be done. Maybe I don't know. Again, that's the thought.
Very good. So I'm going beyond the Scrum Guide now. So very good. Thank you so much, Navneet, and all the people who shared very, very good and apt examples. So I would like to put it now, connect to the PMP, if people have done PMP, management. Management, if you actually see, this word comes into picture when you have a scope, when you have a schedule, and when you have cost. Looking at those constraints, you manage your actions well to adhere to it and come out or fare well in terms of delivering the goal. However, organizing, you said it well. I mean, you will be center forward, you will be back forward, or something like that. But does that speak about the end goal? No. You have to manage in order to win the game. So that's the specific difference. You have certain constraints straight out. That organization, typically, as people said, that you will be at the gully, you will be at this position. As in football, you will be at this position and you will be center forward and backward forward. That's the organization. However, what is the management? Is we have to win and manage. You interchange or something like that in a given situation. You even have a foul. Doesn't matter maybe sometimes, but goal is very, very important. So winning is the key here. So management is more focused towards the goal than the organization. Organization is very loose and very free formed word. So that's a very basic difference between management and the organization. I mean, we had a lot of questions, so you can still post the question and we would have it in the maybe next session that we have coming up. So just to tell you guys, we also have this YouTube channel. I will post the link in the chat so that you can just subscribe so that you can get the update. So you will see a lot of earlier events Rahul has taken, and other people have also taken very, very interesting events. Just subscribe it and then get updated. So every Saturday, same time, same location online, we do this session. And thank you so much for joining in. You can connect me at vijay.vade@gmail.com. You can just send an email, or I'll just put my email ID here in the chat itself, as well as my phone number. You can just WhatsApp me. And I'll also have this link of YouTube so that you can just subscribe it. So yeah, unfortunately, I'll have to say thank you. Thanks, Rahul, for reminding me that. So thank you so much for joining in, and see you next Saturday.
Thanks, Vijay, and everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for arranging.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, everyone.